Is the spirit of vengeance ready to race back into the MCU? We've been hearing for a long time that Marvel definitely wants to bring Ghost Rider back to life, and after a long wait, fans are clearly ready. Let's check out a couple of new reports that seems to indicate that not only is Ghost Rider ready to burn his way through the MCU, along with the Midnight Suns, we also might actually have the new face behind the skull. So let's dive in. Well, we've been hearing rumors about Ghost Rider making its way into the MCU for a couple of years now. There was a series from Jeff Loeb that was all queued up before Marvel Studios gobbled up Marvel Television. This was going to be based on the Robbie Reyes version we got in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then when Kevin Feige became king of all things Marvel, Ghost Rider temporarily got put up on the shelf. Now, ever since Marvel started bringing more of these horror characters to life, well, Ghost Rider keeps bubbling back up to the surface. We know Marvel is drudging through a Blade production right now, but let's not forget we've also gotten a whole crop of Marvel witches in the form of the Scarlet Witch, Agatha, and Wiccan, Moon Knight, the Spirit of Khonshu, Werewolf by Night, and Man-Thing. So the Marvel supernatural world is alive and well. It just appears Marvel is waiting for the right time. Now, at this point, Marvel has not yet confirmed when a new Ghost Rider is going to be introduced. But like I said, there's been pretty persistent rumors from multiple sources for quite a while. There's also been some pretty big hints directly from Marvel from both Kevin Feige and Brad Winderbaum, suggesting that Ghost Rider could be coming to Marvel Television. Now, within all of these rumors, one of the most common factors is that the flame-headed hero is expected to be part of a Midnight Suns movie. But based on some recent reports from one Hollywood insider, it really does sound like Marvel has way bigger plans for the character beyond just the team-up. So before we talk about who's going to play the new Ghost Rider, let's dive in a little bit into where he's going to show up and how soon. Now, this report comes via Daniel Richtman. And like we always like to say, not Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, but Rickman's track record has been pretty solid the last couple of years. He does not hide behind anonymity and will even fess up when something turns out not to be true. Now, recently over on his Patreon, Rickman reported, and I quote, "No one has been cast as the new Ghost Rider yet, but he is set to appear in a few projects over the next 3 years, including Midnight Suns." Now, the fact that he said over the next 3 years is the most interesting aspect to me, because this suggests Ghost Rider really is right around the corner. Now, we have heard rumors that Nicolas Cage could return to the role in the upcoming Doomsday or Secret Wars project, and as many of you know, Ryan Reynolds worked really hard to get him into Deadpool and Wolverine, but it just didn't work out. Now, honestly, if there really are 2 or 3 projects right around the corner, well, to me, what I'm hearing is, more than likely, over the next couple of years, we're going to have Ghost Rider probably show up in Secret Wars, then have his own solo project. I'm thinking in the form of a Marvel series. That's a great way to tell an origin story and give a character the proper background, and then that will lead into the Midnight Suns. Now, we do know Bob Iger has been really excited about expanding some of their marquee franchises, namely the Avengers, and the Midnight Suns could definitely be integrated into some of these larger team-ups, and honestly guys, it seems like team-ups are where Marvel really does make the most money. Now, what's really interesting to me, though, is shortly after this report dropped, we got an interesting update from Charles Murphy over at Murphy's Multiverse. And again, like I said about Daniel Richtman, not Marvel Studios, but these guys also have a pretty solid track record. Now, he did not say anything specific, but what he posted might have revealed who is at the top of Marvel's list to play the next Ghost Rider. And honestly, it caught me off guard. Check it out. Yeah, that is Ashton Kutcher. Now, what's interesting about the post, though, is that is not the Johnny Blaze version of the character. That is Danny Ketch. And we've been hearing for quite a while that when Marvel brings the character back, they're going to go with the Danny Ketch version of the character. Now, this might be a really smart move on Marvel's part, but first, let's talk about Kutcher. Honestly, many people think of him as Kelso on That 70s Show, but he's got a pretty long career in various projects in Hollywood, although his reputation for delivering performances is not always the best. Now, I will say this, when Marvel develops a character, they often do a great job of matching the personalities of the actors to the characters, and that really helps them come to life. There was a lot of Robert Downey Jr. in his version of Tony Stark, just like you see Tom Holland bleed into Peter Parker and Chris Evans into Steve Rogers. This is something Marvel has done really well in their casting formula, and honestly, I can totally see Ashton as the new Ghost Rider inside the MCU. Probably the only downside to Ashton Kutcher coming into this role is there has been a little bit of public scuttlebutt around some of his relationships with people that are, well, we'll call them unsavory, and that can definitely impact who Disney hires and brings into the House of Mouse. His relationship with Danny Masterson, as well as P. Diddy, could definitely come into play here. So I find the choice curious, and if this turns out to be true, I'm pretty sure the damage control methodology has already been mapped out. Now, this also leaves the door open for Nicolas Cage to still come back as Johnny Blaze. I think adding Johnny Blaze to Secret Wars might be a big win, and fans were kind of hopeful he would make it into Deadpool and Wolverine, and definitely a character that would have made some of those showdowns even more interesting. Now, for me personally, Ghost Rider is one of my favorite characters from Marvel Comics. I do find the Nicolas Cage movies fun. I'm not a hater. They're not perfect, but they do capture some great Ghost Rider moments. And when we got Robbie Reyes on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a little tease of Johnny Blaze, well, that was more than a blast too. And if they decide to do Danny Ketch, well, they're already establishing this as a transferable mantle, and Robbie Reyes is likely right around the corner. Now, what's also interesting is the Midnight Suns sometimes has both versions of Ghost Rider, so you never know. Marvel might have some pretty expansive plans for this character moving forward. After Secret Wars, we don't know what their world is going to look like. They may even have access to some of the characters from Sony, meaning Morbius, probably not the Jared Leto version, but at least the character Morbius could be part of this. The lineup for this team has been a bit fluid over the years, but Marvel definitely has enough supernatural faces to bring it to life, and a lot of star power behind many of those faces. But if they're able to pull this together, well, we're going to have to wait and see. Now, before you take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, ring that bell for all the updates, and make sure you get every notification because we do daily Marvel and DC content and we don't want you to miss any news.